The lake house hasn't changed a bit. Same creaky steps, same overcrowded rooms, same fridge that empties every few hours like it's haunted. It's loud and chaotic and smells vaguely like sunscreen and barbecue. I love it. Every summer, our family packs into this old house for 2 weeks of sunburns, campfire stories, and barely surviving on 5 hours of sleep. But this year, there's someone new in the mix, Blake, my sister Jenna's boyfriend. When she introduced him, I expected the usual. Some guy I'd have to tolerate until Labor Day. But to my surprise, Blake fits in instantly. He's got that effortless charm. Cracks jokes with the cousins. Dives into lake games like he's one of us. It's annoying how good he is at everything. And, okay, he's hot. Not that it matters. Ryan, right? He says, flopping down beside me on the porch after a long day in the sun. His hair's still damp from the lake, sticking up in every direction. Jenna says you're the family troublemaker. I smirk. She says that like it's a bad thing. He grins. She also says you flirt with everyone, for fun. I glance over at Jenna, who's too busy arguing over Uno rules with our cousins to notice. Gotta keep things interesting. Blake raises an eyebrow. Even with guys? There's something in his voice. Curiosity? I shrug casually. Flirting's just words. Doesn't have to mean anything. Then, just to mess with him, I lean in a little, lowering my voice. Unless you wanted to. I expect him to laugh, roll his eyes, but he doesn't. He just looks at me. And suddenly, it doesn't feel like a joke anymore. The bonfire crackles, casting everyone in a warm orange glow. Smoke curls into the air as marshmallows burn to a crisp on too many forgotten sticks. The usual chaos, cousins laughing. Someone retelling that dumb ghost story for the 3rd year in a row. It should feel familiar, normal. But Blake is sitting next to me again. Always is. He nudges my knee with his like it's nothing. Then passes me a bag of chips. You scared yet? He teases, nodding toward our cousin, who's in the middle of a dramatic ghost story complete with flashlight under the chin. I snort. Please, you jumped at the last one. His grin tugs at the corner of his mouth. But he doesn't look away. I did not. I lean in slightly. You definitely flinched. He holds my gaze. Maybe you just make me jumpy. My heart stutters, just for a second. I laugh it off, brushing ash from his shoulder and letting my fingers linger a moment too long. If you're scared, I murmur, low enough that only he can hear. I'll keep you safe. Blake chuckles but shifts in his seat. The movement subtle, like he's trying to get comfortable or get closer. I should back off. I know that, but it's become a game. And watching him fluster is addictive. Later, when everyone heads inside for drinks and blankets, I linger at the edge of the deck, needing a breath of cool air. The stars are out, the lake's surface smooth and black. Peaceful, for once. Then I hear the screen door creak behind me. Footsteps. Couldn't sleep? Blake's voice is soft, almost cautious. I turn, finding him leaning against the railing a few feet away. Hands in his pockets, eyes on me like I'm some unsolvable riddle. You following me now? I joke. Didn't know this was your spot. We fall into silence, but it's not the easy kind. It's heavy, tense, like we're both waiting for something neither of us wants to say first. Then his foot brushes mine under the bench. Not by accident. I freeze. Just a beat. He doesn't move it. Neither do I. I've been thinking, he says quietly, still staring at the lake. About earlier. About what you said. I try to play dumb. What part? Blake turns his head, his eyes finding mine in the dark. The part where you said flirting doesn't have to mean anything, unless I wanted to. The air tightens around us. He doesn't say it like a joke. I swallow hard. And, do you? Blake doesn't answer right away. Just watches me with that unreadable expression. Like he's still figuring it out himself. I don't know. He finally whispers. But I haven't stopped thinking about it. My stomach flips. This is dangerous territory. Jenna is asleep inside, completely unaware. The rest of the house is quiet. Too quiet. And here I am, heart pounding, still not pulling my foot away. I tell myself it's all in my head. That Blake's just friendly. That I'm imagining the glances. The quiet tension. The touches that last a beat too long. But the next morning, he slides into the seat next to me at breakfast, despite 3 other open chairs around the table. Morning, he says casually, like he didn't almost cross a line with me last night. I nod, trying to focus on my cereal instead of the warmth radiating off his arm. Morning, At the beach, he picks teams for volleyball and makes sure we're on the same side. When we win, he claps a hand on my shoulder and leaves it there just a little too long. Later, back at the cabin, during movie night, he ends up next to me on the couch. His knee presses against mine. None of it is loud. None of it screams something's going on. But I feel it. Every touch, every glance, every quiet moment that lingers just a second too long. It's driving me crazy. He's always there, in the room I just walked into, sliding past me in the hallway, leaning close to say something that doesn't need to be whispered. I'm trying to ignore it, trying to pretend none of this matters. But then it's just us again, out on the porch, late at night, where everything feels too quiet and too loaded. Blake leans on the railing. Same as the night before. Didn't expect to see you out here, he says, but he's smiling like he did. Could say the same. There's a beat of silence. Just the waves rolling in the distance. Then, under the bench again, his foot brushes mine. Deliberate. Slow. I freeze, again. And once again. I don't move. What is this? I ask finally. My voice barely above a whisper. Blake doesn't answer right away. He just looks at me. His eyes dark in the moonlight. Searching. You ever wonder? He says softly. What it'd be like if things were different? My breath catches. Different how? He shrugs. But it's a shaky kind of casual. If I'd met you first. If I wasn't with Jenna. If I didn't feel this. There it is. Said out loud. I want to tell him to stop. To pull away. To end this now before it spirals even more. But instead, I whisper. Me too. His eyes widen. Just a flicker, but he doesn't move. And neither do I. The firelight from the beach flickers in the distance. Laughter echoes faintly. The rest of the world is still turning like nothing's changed. But I know better. Because tonight, something shifted. And I don't think there's any going back. I've been trying to keep my distance. Avoiding him should be easy. There are a dozen other people crammed into this house. But Blake, he's always there. Like he's orbiting me. Or maybe I'm the one orbiting him. I skip lunch to take a nap. And somehow he's in the kitchen when I get up. Leaning on the counter like he's been waiting. At the lake, he swims across the cove just to float next to me. During board games, he makes a joke about teammates who know each other too well, while smirking directly at me. And I don't stop him. That's the worst part. I don't shut it down. I don't tell him to back off. I keep letting it happen like I'm waiting for the moment he pushes it just one step further. That moment comes during another movie night. We're on the couch again. Jenna on one side of him. Me on the other. The room is dark except for the glow of the screen. Somewhere in the middle of an action scene, I feel his hand stretch behind the couch. Fingers grazing the back of my neck. I stiffen. I know that move. I've used that move. I snap my head toward him. Heart pounding. But Blake keeps his eyes on the screen. Like he didn't just cross another line. And Jenna? She doesn't notice. At least, not right then. The next morning, I find her in the kitchen. Arms crossed. Eyes narrowed. You're acting weird, she says. I grab a glass from the cabinet. Keeping my voice casual. No idea what you're talking about. She scoffs. Please, you and Blake haven't talked in days. Before that, you were glued to each other. I laugh weakly. Maybe I got bored. She doesn't buy it. Luke, she says, softer now. Did something happen? My heart lurches. I grip the fridge door a little too tightly. No, I lie. Nothing happened. Her eyes search mine. I can't tell if she believes me or not. Just, don't be a joke to him. Okay, she says quietly. He really likes you. My stomach flips. She doesn't know how right she is. And somehow, that makes it worse. I watch her walk out of the kitchen. Her footsteps soft, unaware of the emotional bomb ticking between all of us. I turn back to the sink, staring out at the lake beyond the window. My hands braced on the counter. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. But it's happening anyway. And if I don't stop it soon, someone's going to get hurt. I can't breathe around him anymore. Not in the fun, flirty way it started. Not in the teasing, heat of the moment way that felt exciting. No, now it feels like guilt is squeezing the air out of my lungs every time Blake walks into the room. And he always does. Like now, when I'm hiding out on the back deck just after midnight, hoping for 5 minutes of silence. The door creaks behind me. Of course. Hey, Blake says, voice soft. I don't turn around. You shouldn't be out here. I think we need to talk. No, I say flatly. We really don't. He steps up beside me anyway. Too close. Always too close. I can feel the heat from his body in the cool night air. I grip the railing tighter. Like that'll stop me from doing something stupid. Ryan, he says, and something in his tone is different. Strained, heavy. You're messing with my head. I blink. Excuse me? He runs a hand through his hair. Frustrated. I was fine. Then he cuts himself off. Shaking his head. Now I'm questioning everything. I finally turn to look at him. You think I'm doing this to you? I think I like you. He says, eyes locking on mine, and I don't know what to do with that. The words hang between us like smoke. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. Because what can I say? That I feel it too? That I didn't mean to start something. But now I can't stop? That every time he's near, my heart does this ridiculous flip and it scares the hell out of me? Instead, I take a step back. This isn't fair. He doesn't move. To Jenna? To any of us. He nods slowly. I know, but I also know I'm not imagining this. Before I can answer, the screen door creaks open again. We both whip around. Jenna stands in the doorway. Her arms are crossed, her face unreadable. My blood runs cold. How long has this been going on? She asks quietly. Jenna. She holds up a hand. Don't lie. Blake opens his mouth, but she cuts him off. I knew something was off. I just didn't want to believe it. I take a step forward. Nothing happened. She laughs bitterly. Don't. I'm not stupid. You think I can't see the way you look at each other? Silence. Just the sound of the waves crashing against the rocks below. Jenna turns to Blake. You could have just told me. I didn't mean for it to happen. He says, but I can't keep lying to you. Tears fill her eyes, but she blinks them away. Then don't. She walks back inside, the door slamming behind her. Blake and I stand in silence. Everything we didn't say is now out in the open. And none of it feels like enough. The house is too quiet. Like everyone can feel something's broken but no one knows how to fix it. Jenna locked herself in her room. Blake disappeared down to the dock. I haven't seen him since. I'm still in the kitchen, gripping the edge of the counter like it's the only thing keeping me grounded. I should have stopped this before it went too far. Before it hurt anyone. Before it hurt her. My phone buzzes. One new message. Blake. Meet me at the porch. Please. Just one last time. I stare at the screen for a long minute. I shouldn't go. I know I shouldn't, but I do. Because with him, I've never been good at walking away. He's already sitting on the porch steps when I get there. Elbows on his knees, staring out at the water like it holds all the answers we don't have. She hates me, he says without looking up. I sit beside him. She's hurt. He exhales, dragging a hand down his face. I didn't leave her for you. I need you to know that. I know, I say quietly, but that doesn't make it better. He finally turns to me, eyes heavy. Do you hate me for this? I want to say yes. I want to say I wish this never happened. That everything would be easier if he just stayed in his lane. If I'd kept my stupid mouth shut. But the truth is, I don't hate him. And that scares me more than anything. No, I say, I don't. The next day, we sit across from Jenna at the kitchen table. No one eats. No one moves. We've been talking for 20 minutes. Saying the same things in different ways. It wasn't planned. We never meant to hurt her. Blake figured something out that had nothing to do with me, except. Somehow, everything does. Jenna listens, doesn't interrupt, just stares down at her mug like it's the only thing keeping her steady. Finally, she looks at Blake. You could have told me sooner. I know, he says, voice tight. Then she looks at me. And you? She hesitates. Did you want this? I feel the weight of the question like a punch to the chest. No, I say. Then, softer. I don't know. She lets out a bitter laugh. Great. I lean forward, desperate. I never meant to hurt you. Jenna, I swear. She looks at me for a long time. Eyes searching mine for something. Maybe sincerity. Maybe guilt. Maybe both. Finally, she says, I believe you. Relief floods through me. But then she adds, that doesn't mean it didn't hurt. I nod. I get that. She stands, crossing her arms. I just need time. It's not forgiveness. It's not resolution. But it's a start. And right now, that's more than I deserve. The last night of summer always hits different. Maybe it's the way the air turns just a little cooler. Like fall sneaking in through the trees. Or maybe it's because we all know this version of life, this messy, magical in-between, doesn't last forever. We're on the beach. Blankets spread across the sand. A speaker hums some soft indie track while my cousins toss a frisbee in the fading light. It looks like any other summer ending. But it's not, because everything has changed. Jenna sits a few feet away, wrapped in a hoodie, her hair pulled into a messy bun. She's quiet tonight, not cold. Just tired. I don't blame her. She's been through hell. So have we all. But she's here. That means something. Blake sits next to me. Close but not too close. Our arms brush when we shift. It's subtle, intentional. You good? He asks. Voice low. I exhale, watching the waves roll in. Getting there. He nods like he understands. Maybe he does. We sit in silence, just listening to the rhythm of the ocean. No pressure, no tension. For the first time in weeks. It feels okay. Summer's over tomorrow, Blake says, more to the wind than to me. I glance at him. Yeah, back to real life. He looks at me for a beat. Eyes soft. Doesn't have to be the end of this. You know. My chest tightens. What is this? He smiles faintly. Still figuring that out, remember? I laugh under my breath. Right. He nudges my knee gently with his. We'll figure it out. And for once, I believe him. The next few weeks are weird, awkward. In a way that only comes after something breaks and doesn't quite go back the way it was. Jenna and I don't talk much at first. She texts here and there, mostly practical stuff, but I can feel the distance. She needs space, and I'm giving it to her. But slowly, something shifts. A text about our mom's birthday turns into a brief call. A call turns into lunch. And lunch turns into laughter, real laughter. Like the old days. We don't talk about what happened. Not directly, but it's there, sitting between us, softer now, less sharp. One afternoon, she looks at me over coffee and says, I didn't think I'd ever get past it. I swallow. I wasn't sure either. She shrugs. But I realized, if Blake hadn't figured things out with me, he would have figured them out eventually. It just sucked that I had to be the detour. I'm sorry, I say, and I mean it. I know. She smiles, small, but it reaches her eyes this time. So, are you too? Like, official? I blink. I don't know. We're trying. Taking it slow. She raises a brow. Slow, huh? Didn't look very slow at the lake house. I laugh, cheeks burning. Okay, fair. She laughs too. And just like that, something heals. A year passes. It's surreal how much can change in a year. Blake and I are still together, stronger than ever. Turns out, taking it slow was the right call. We had to rebuild trust. Not just with each other, but with ourselves. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Now, standing here under an archway draped in soft white linen and wildflowers, I look at him across the aisle and feel nothing but certainty. His suit's slightly crooked, because of course it is, and his hair's doing that thing where it sticks up no matter how much gel he uses. But his eyes are locked on mine, and he's smiling like I'm the only thing that matters. He's not just the guy who confused the hell out of me last summer. He's my person. Jenna stands beside me as my best woman, looking radiant in navy blue. Her fiancé, Blake's best man, gives me a wink from across the aisle. I swear they're both trying not to cry. The officiant says something about love and time and forgiveness, but all I hear is my heartbeat. Steady, sure. When it's time, I take Blake's hands in mine. They're warm, familiar. I love you, he whispers, low enough that only I can hear. I know. I whisper back, I love you too. We exchange vows, both a little shaky, both a little awkward, because neither of us are great with serious speeches. But we get through it. We say everything we need to say. And then the kiss, soft, slow, and full of every messy, beautiful moment that brought us here. Applause erupts around us, but I barely hear it. I'm too busy holding him like I never planned to let go. Later, at the reception, Jenna clinks her glass and stands to give her toast. She clears her throat, looking at me, then at Blake. I've always believed love should be simple, she says, but this year taught me something. Sometimes the most complicated stories lead to the most honest kind of love. And if anyone's earned that, it's you too. I bite the inside of my cheek to keep from tearing up. We toast, we dance, we laugh until our stomachs hurt. And when the night winds down, Blake and I sneak outside, barefoot on the grass, watching the stars blink to life above us. He pulls me close, arms wrapped around my waist. You still think this was a bad idea? I lean my forehead against his. It was a terrible idea. He grins. Best terrible idea I ever had. We laugh, tangled in moonlight and quiet promises. Because after everything, the chaos, the guilt, the heartbreak, we found something real. Something worth holding on to. And this time, we're not letting go.